Hello everybody and welcome to Holy Manticore Games. Alright, so diving right in, I built the sword and board version of the Lychguard with the real Lychguard, and now I'm going to do the Warscythe onto some Necron so I can have a 10-man Lychguard unit. And just checking to see where all the parts are. I don't know about anybody else, but I get so lost in sprues sometimes, like trying to find a very, the next specific piece that you need. I don't know. Maybe I did need better glasses. So, anyways, trimming down the arm and Warscythe shaft that I found, and I'm going to be piecing this all together, just trying to get it figured out, positions of the hands, position of how this arm is supposed to go, trying to figure it all out, because in the directions, it doesn't show which arm goes to which hand. It just, it gives you two arms and one Warscythe, and you got to put it together, and it makes sense when you're building it with two arms, but when you have one arm, it's a little confusing. So now just like referencing the angle of the Warscythe onto the warrior, just to see if I'm gonna be able to just snip out the Gauss flare and put it on, or if I need the arms. Come to find out, it's a crazy angle and the arms don't line up, so I decided to use the one extra arm from the Lychguard box and glue that in place, and then use that as like a starting point, and then manipulate the other arm of the warrior into the other hand on the Warscythe shaft. So the warriors that I'm using were rescued. I bought a whole bunch of stuff from some people, and they were just not in the best of shape. I did the isopropyl alcohol bath on them, and some of the paint came off and some of the paint didn't. One guy that I bought the Indominus Necron's half from, he airbrush primed all of the minis in black, and I think he varnished them because it took about 48 hours of isopropyl alcohol bath to even get them to the paint to start to degrade at all. So that's what some of these, the half gray, half black warriors are. Those are the ones that soaked for like 48 hours. The all black warriors were the ones that either I had pulled them out after a few hours and couldn't figure out what was going on, or there's still some that I just didn't do because it took so long. I was just like, I'll deal with it. I'll prime over this black base and figure out what to do next. And come to find out, I decided that I was going to do this. I am going to try to salvage the other, there's like back pieces and like another couple of pieces left on the sprue after this is all said and done, and it's for another unit. I'm going to pull it apart and build them, and then lay them on top of a warrior to see if it even looks like it could work, because there's still some arms and weapons left on the sprues as well. So it will give me an opportunity to expand my forces until I can buy new boxes and build them out regularly. But I kind of like doing this kind of stuff just because it looks funny. When I was referencing the position of the Warscythe handle to the warrior, I noticed that the arm of this kit is significantly bigger than the arm of the warrior. And I know it's like lore based that the Lychguard and the other guys that this box builds are like a superior race of Necrons that are just bigger and stronger in all these different kinds of ways, and they're entrusted in like protecting the Overlord specifically, so that's why they're bigger. So I thought it was kind of funny when it was like have like one huge arm and then one tiny arm, but carrying the giant Lychguard weapon around. So I'm just building out all 5 of the Warscythes, getting an arm attached to them, and I'm using some tacky putty just to hold them up so that way they can dry without getting stuck to the paper or getting stuck to the table, or having the weight of the arm or something like that move the hand position. Alright, so now that I've got all 5 of my warriors, it's time to figure out what I'm going to do. And I think is what's going to happen, I'm just going to cut the whole right arm off, and then cut the left hand off, and kind of just trim all 5 of them down exactly the same way, because the Lychguard, Warscythe, all the extra arms were the right arm. So yeah, I'm just going to go in and snip all these down, so that way, at least the connecting points are going to be the same for these 5 little warrior Lychguards. Just to get a little bit closer view of what's going on. Basically, I snipped the shoulder joint out, and I'm going to be using plastic glue to kind of create a melting pool of plastic from inside the warrior chest cavity. And then I'm going to push the Lychguard shoulder ball into place. Like that, right there. And then once that's there, I can manipulate it a little bit better to hold the hand in place on the other side of the shaft. So there's that one, just holding it in place for a little bit so that way everything kind of tacks up so I don't have to worry about it. And they end up tacking up really well. The plastic glue from Citadel does eat through paint, I've found, and just depending on the paint, sometimes it makes it set a little bit faster. Other times it using just a little bit of paint, or use a little bit of the plastic glue on an area that's painted, actually created like a super crazy strong bond on a couple of other pieces that I used, that I had gotten from someone else, that I just like was experimenting to see if the plastic glue would still work, because I didn't have super glue at the time. And then I tried something and I was like, oh cool, it does work. And oh my god, it took me forever. I ended up having to get the X-Acto knife out and cutting that piece off because it wasn't exactly where I wanted it. So now we're working on the next warrior, and while I did cut the right arm off and the left hand off and got the weapon out of the way, each one of these Warscythe handles is positioned just slightly different. So I couldn't just like grab one and throw it on the warrior, grab one, throw it on the next one. I had to find the one that actually fit with the way the warrior was previously made. And even still, I ended up having to use some of the tacky putty to hold like the shoulder pieces or the hands or like the whole thing in place. The very last one, it was in this one that's still on the table right there at the top. It's in such a weird position, I ended up having to super glue its foot up front to reposition its body so that way I could get the Warscythe in a position that actually made sense. But like some of them, they go together super smooth. Like this one, like no struggle whatsoever. The first one, no struggle. The second one, it was giving me a little bit of a issue. It's easy to kind of identify which one it was that the position of the Warscythe was going to go. The one Warscythe on the right hand side that's laying down, I wasn't paying attention until just now and realized that it was one-handed, and so I had to cut the hand off of one of the left hand back off of one of the Gauss flares, and glue it back in place on this warrior so he could have a left hand instead of a nub. And then I end up putting the Warscythe into the right hand shoulder, and that actually came out really good. One of the things that I really enjoy about like this process of kit bashing the Lychguards in with the warriors and stuff like that is like with the reanimation protocol, like all of their body parts are, you know, collectively coming back together. But if they're in a battlefield and like all of these Lychguard and all these warriors, they're all dead at the same time and trying to like reanimate at the same time, like I think it's funny that maybe some of the parts got mixed up, right? So we've got somewhere out there a Lychguard unit with no Warscythes, and all of them have like super scrawny right arms. Like, what happened? So here, just going through the struggle of getting the warrior to stay in position, I end up getting some electrical tape and taping him in place until the super glue would tack up, because I tried a little bit of the plastic glue and it didn't work. So I got the super glue out and it's like, okay, this is gonna work. And then as soon as I let it go, it popped right out. And so I got the super glue, got him in there, retacked him down with the super glue, wrapped him up with electrical tape so that way he would stay in place, and then worked the arm and the Warscythe back on, and then I took the electrical tape off, and it's been about a day and a half. He still hasn't moved, so I think it was a success. And then this one, while the position was okay, I wasn't really feeling it when I first had him tacked in place to make sure that it looked okay. So I pulled the arm off and flipped the Warscythe around, so that way it was just in a better position, and it looked good, because it was in a position that just didn't make sense. Like the bottom hilt of the Warscythe was up in the air, and the blade was down by the ground, but like not in like a swinging position, but like in like a dragging position. I was like, that doesn't make sense. So I flipped it around, and this one's super funny because his left hand on the Warscythe is upside down and backwards. But again, I think it's super funny because it's like reanimation protocol happened, but maybe it went wrong. But yeah, I was just letting it set a little bit longer so that way it's not an issue. Took the tape off, made sure the super glue ended up holding, get this guy into a better position. And just as a reminder, tomorrow, today's Saturday, that this is getting recorded and posted. So Sunday, 6 a.m. Hawaii Standard Time, I'm going to be doing the drawing for the terrain giveaway. And I'll be doing a live for a couple of hours to paint some stuff and show off the new containers and to just kind of celebrate the winner. So if you catch it, great. If not, it'll get posted up on my YouTube channel. And yeah, so just wrapping up here with this last Lychguard. As you can see, I ended up taking that tacky putty and wrapping it all the way around like a belt to hold everything in place. And here's the force. Here's a better picture. And yeah, thank you guys. Thanks for watching, and as always, leave a comment, subscribe, like, and share.